Hey guys, wait a second. Today I'm going to show you 7 truths about saturated fat are deceptions. Most of us have heard the same advice. Avoid butter, trim fat from meat, skip egg yolks. Saturated fat has long been treated like a dietary enemy, but that advice isn't the full story. Many truths about saturated fat come from old or incomplete research. For decades, experts told us to cut fat. During the same time, obesity and diet-related diseases rose sharply. That seems odd, doesn't it? Much of the science behind saturated fat is misunderstood. In this video, we'll look at 7 myths and what current research actually says. Number 1. Saturated fat causes heart disease. The first myth is that eating saturated fat directly causes heart disease. This idea comes from Dr. Ancel Keys's 7-country study in the 1950s. It showed that countries with high saturated fat intake often had more heart disease, but critics note that some countries with high fat intake and low heart disease were left out. Modern research shows it's more complex. What matters is what replaces saturated fat in the diet. Replacing it with polyunsaturated fats like those in fish and nuts lowers heart disease risk. Most guidelines suggest keeping saturated fat under 10% of daily calories, though some groups recommend even less. Number 2. Cutting saturated fat alone improves health. The second myth is that lowering saturated fat automatically makes your diet healthier. It doesn't. Health effects depend on what replaces the fat. During the low-fat trend, people swapped fat for sugar and refined carbs. That change didn't lower heart disease risk and may have made health outcomes worse. Overall diet quality matters more than a single nutrient. Number 3. All saturated fats are the same. The third myth is that all saturated fats act the same in your body. Saturated fat includes different fatty acids. Some, like stearic acid in cocoa butter, may lower LDL cholesterol slightly, but others, like lauric acid in coconut oil, raise LDL but also raise HDL. The food source matters too. Fat from a bacon cheeseburger acts differently than fat from whole milk yogurt. Current guidelines don't yet separate these types in their recommendations. Number 4. Saturated fat is the main cause of high cholesterol. The fourth myth is that saturated fat drives high cholesterol. Diet affects cholesterol, but your liver produces most of it, around 75%. Saturated fat raises LDL slightly and also raises HDL. Blood cholesterol is influenced by many factors, so saturated fat is only one part of the picture. Number 5. Fat-free means healthier. The fifth myth comes from the low-fat craze of the 1990s. Fat-free foods are automatically better. Removing fat often adds sugar, salt, or additives to keep taste. Fat also helps you feel full. Without it, you may eat more calories overall. Number 6. Coconut oil is a superfood. The sixth myth is that coconut oil is a miracle food. Claims that it burns fat or boosts metabolism are not supported by strong evidence. Coconut oil is mostly saturated fat. It can fit in a diet for flavor, but it should be used like any concentrated fat. Number 7. Dairy fat is special. The seventh myth is that saturated fat from dairy is harmless. Full-fat milk, butter, and cheese still raise LDL cholesterol. Some research suggests yogurt or cheese might not affect heart disease risk as much, but this is not fully proven. For now, count dairy in your total saturated fat intake. The fear of saturated fat comes from outdated science. The bigger picture matters more than a single nutrient. Cutting saturated fat can help if you replace it with unsaturated fats or high-fiber starches. Modern health risks are more about added sugar, refined grains, and highly processed foods. Avoiding saturated fat alone doesn't fix these problems. Focus on whole, minimally processed foods instead. What's the biggest fat myth you believed? Share it in the comments.